There is an idea that any change without addressing the root cause or understanding the root cause of a problem is unlikely to stick or be all that useful. And therefore, asking why is like asking for an explanation. But as the philosopher Wittgenstein said, all explanations tend to peter out, because in the end we come to a why that we can't answer, and so it's ultimately potentially not satisfactory. And certainly I think it's not satisfactory if we want to treat mental health problems like anxiety, for instance. You might say, well, why do I feel fear? Well, fear is a natural and normal emotion. Everyone has the capacity to feel fear. But why do I feel fear now? Because your brain is detecting some form of threat that you're under. But why? Quite quickly, we run out of road with the why question. Medicine has historically treated symptoms. Pure research or science has tended to be more interested in mechanisms and processes. And as technologies develop, the two have kind of married themselves together. I'm prone to say that psychiatry less so. Psychiatry still treats symptoms. But from a psychotherapeutic point of view, Freud, I think, was particularly concerned with the why question, the explanation. And he made a theoretical and literary career on asking the why question. But if we want to actually solve problems, I think that the way that Freud went about it was poorly efficient. Let's put it that way. So I think the why question takes us down a rabbit hole with potentially no satisfaction. The what question, however, what is happening now? What is going on now? I think that gives us an opportunity to ask reasonable questions that take us to something that we can use, an outcome that's useful to us. So I'm going to take you through a little example of just explaining how the what question is so much more powerful than the why question. The example I'm using is anxiety. So let's start off with, what is your problem? Well, my problem is I feel anxious. Okay. What is the threat that you are under that makes you feel anxious? Now, if you follow my work, or if you've been through the Anxiety Wizard program, you know that I talk about two realities: external reality and internal reality. The question is, what is the external reality threat you are under that makes fear the natural and normal response? I've asked that question many hundreds of times, and it's very rare that I get any answer other than none. I have no external reality threat. Okay, that's profound just by itself, because it tells you that your psychological problem, your anxiety, is an internal reality problem. I've almost never met a person who struggled with anxiety that did not try to solve it in external reality. I can't drive because roads are dangerous. That's solving the problem, right? I can't go out socially because people might judge me or whatever. That's solving the problem externally. I can't fly because planes might crash. That's solving the problem externally. We have to recognize that if you don't have an external reality threat, it's like your anxiety is generated by your internal reality. Okay, so what thoughts do you need to be having in internal reality to generate the feeling of anxiety? Okay, so what is the most negative thought you have, or the most negative belief you have about yourself right now? A common answer is, I don't feel good enough. What are you not good enough at? Now you have to be realistic, right? I'm not good enough at playing the piano, but I don't play the piano, so it doesn't really matter. What in your domain of things that you do, what are you not good enough at? Nothing. I do everything perfectly well. So what's actually happening in real time is that in your work, your relationships, or your social life, you're doing everything perfectly well, but you feel not good enough. What do you fear will happen? I fear I will fail. So do you feel a failure? Yes. Are you a failure? No. So now we've arrived at the real-time problem. The real-time problem is that your internal reality has somehow become distorted in this particular domain where you don't feel good enough. You are good enough, you don't feel good enough. Therefore, wherever you go, whatever you do, it's likely that the feeling of not good enough and the next step on from that, which is failure, is likely to make you feel threatened, because failing at something feels threatening. It evokes the emotion of fear. So in essence, your internal reality is not adequately calibrated to external reality. You are perfectly good at what you do, you don't feel good enough. And so your problem is that the feelings are taking you down a path that's not actually true. And what we have to remember is that, of course, feelings are not facts. But by asking this series of what questions, we have arrived at this formulation. I am successful, I don't feel successful. I am good enough, I don't feel good enough. There's a mismatch between external reality and internal feeling. And therefore the solution is to recalibrate your brain so that it is more, the emotions that you feel are more in line with external reality and less calibrated to this distorted version of reality that you have in your internal system. And that is the topic of the next video.